Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. And as usual, the three of us have been making shit happen this last week. And today we are going to be talking to one lady, Christine, who certainly knows how to make shit happen. You are going to be in awe of what she does. You're going to get goosebumps. It's just a very huggable session that we're going to have. But I will warn you as well, it's going to make the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It did mine when I read about the inhumane circumstances to some of our fur friends and family. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and with Christine and her backstory. The one thing about the three of us is that we don't take no for answers. And that is why this podcast is called Make Shit Happen, because we don't take no. We just go above and beyond and make it happen. So I'm going to give you a little backstory as to why we are concentrating on animals in general. April the 30th was the National Celebrate Veterinarians Day. And I saw that and I thought, oh, that's really cool. But then when I was really thinking about it, I said to myself, that shit's not going to happen. We are going to spend the entire month of May celebrating veterinarians, rescue facilities. Somebody called them a pet nanny. Yeah, I thought that was so cute. Pet nannies, caregivers. And as I said, today is all about a rescue facility. We launched this campaign on May 1st with Dr. Hoffman, who Patty knows really well, and we all got to know Dr. Hoffman. So, Patty, what were your takeaways with that session with Dr. Hoffman?
That was really a great podcast, I thought, and I really learned a lot. And I would say to you several things. One was, what happened through COVID? I mean, what were some of the circumstances of COVID that happened to, veterinarians, hospitals, clients, pets? I mean, the whole chain, how did things happen there? The other thing that we talked a lot about was, behavioral issues, training, positivity, things like that for animals, which was kind of enlightening for me because I really didn't think about it. I grew up with pets, don't really have them. And then I think the last thing we really kind of talked about were just vets in general. And we did sort of touch into the whole rescue thing. It wasn't a huge part of the topic, but we talked a little bit about that too. So this just makes perfect sense, like as the next sort of, lead in topic, basically. So Christine, your organization, which I have looked at several times now, is called My Y Rescue. And I think it's been an organized organization for about a year, but you've been rescuing dogs for a long time. So give us a little bit of your backstory, how you came to it, what you're doing.
Yes. Thank you for the, introduction. So my organization became a 501c3 back in August of 2021. I've had a passion for rescuing animals. When I was helping another organization, I learned about the, markets, the meat markets overseas. And that's when it kind of really, hit me to need to help to need to do something. So I, kind of stepped in and, you do hear no, it can't happen. I'm not the type I'm not going to go with no and just be okay with it. So I needed to push to see what way I could get it done. And I did. And I successfully, was able to bring 84 golden retrievers with another rescue. And, they're all happily safe here within the United States, throughout various states as well. But, unfortunately, some things just, kind of happen within rescue. And I decided to kind of take my turn and, just kind of dive in and just want to do things, my way with, fundraisers and wanting to, just do everything different. So I kind of started my own rescue. I'm still continuing to help, rescue overseas, but there's a ban right now. So just helping us spread the word. And then hopefully once that ban does get lifted, we'll be able to help and bring more dogs in.
So, Christine, you must go through so many emotions when you see these dogs and how they have been living. How do you do it? Where do you put those emotions? Are they? Oh, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it.
We get videos, phone calls, or on WeChat. There's a lot of stuff within rescue that some people don't want to see. But for me, it's like, you have to see this, because you can't go into rescue just kind of being blindsided. Oh, well, does this really happen? And does this really happen? Yeah, it does. And here's the proof. So for me, I mean, it's so hard for me not to want to get on a plane and beat the shit out of these people, to be quite frank with you, because I don't treat my pets the way that other people in other countries do. I understand that, there are various cultures, there are different cultures and, how they do things. And I understand, some people look at us Americans and think, oh my God, how they treat their animals. But, we're also dealing with different cultures. So, I have to kind of have that in the back of my mind as well. But if there's anything that I can do to just help rescue a dog in need, and I think that's my drive, just seeing the conditions that these poor dogs are in, finally bringing them to the States, getting them the proper veterinary care that they need, and then just watching them evolve into amazing dogs. I think that's what my drive definitely is.
Yeah. I do have a question for you about the process, but I want to just bring Patty into this. Patty, you had mentioned something about all these different countries that do have dogs that need to be rescued, but
I think I thought your website was really good. I mean, I went through and read the whole thing, and I think that all of the information that you give is great. I think the photos of the dogs are, I mean, you can really get a sense of personality, I guess, from the pictures, which I think is really cool. But I noticed that it's not only China. You're rescuing dogs from Lebanon and the Bahamas and different places like that, which made me think many reasons. Not only cultural reasons. For instance, I think in China, because I think that having visited there, their idea of food source is very different than our idea of food source. Pretty much everything is a food source for them, sort of. But I also think in places like the Bahamas or Lebanon, that's not the case. So is it natural disaster? I mean, are you targeting places where something has happened, war or disaster, catastrophe, natural disasters? Is that another reason why you're going to places like that?
And that's a great lead to my question. Would be, what is the process from beginning to end?
I think educating people is by far the most important thing that you can do to really help people understand just how overpopulated countries are, overrunning with, dogs, cats. And, obviously the number one is, spay and neuter your pets. We got a call from the help, from the people in the Bahamas. They had asked us to take on two, pot cake puppies that unfortunately were brought into this world in very horrific conditions. Their brothers and sisters did not make it. I don't know what happened to them. But, over in the Bahamas, the people there kind of use their dogs as watchdogs. They're not treated very, very properly. And this is, not in every case, but for these two particular, we got the call to help. And, I'm not going to say no. If I can do it, I'll find a way to do it. I will find a way to get it done. Same thing with Lebanon. This case, with Bonnie, she was tied up for the first 6 months of her life, outside in all kinds of, climates and weather conditions. And if there's a way and a will to get her here, we're still working on that. And I most certainly will do whatever I can, to get the dogs here, of course, legally. I would never do anything to jeopardize my rescue, but, for me, just trying to help save locally and trying to help save globally, if there's a way that I can help save any animal, I'll do the absolute best that I can.
So there must be a cost, and your facility is a new facility relatively. How do you cover these costs? Where do you get money from? Is this a personal financial burden on you? Where do you get your resources?
Well, the most expensive, I will have to say, is China. The price just keeps getting driven up. And right now, you've got rescues that are trying to, get dogs on flights out of there because of the, conditions that are going on with COVID and everything else. Right now it's about, ranging around $3,700 per dog. I particularly help rescue golden retrievers because, golden retrievers are very, very seldom do you find one in need. And for us to be able to get, 20, 40 in at a time, which is what I had originally did with the other rescue. I'm not able to do that now because the price is just so unbelievably expensive. So with the help of, fundraising, thank God I have a great support, behind me. But with, fundraising and donors and doing all kinds of different fundraising events, I put my own money into helping, getting these dogs over. But again, I'll do whatever it takes, to get them here, even if it's just bringing one over. I understand that saving one dog is not going to change the world. It's not. But for that one dog, the world will be completely changed for them. That quote is so unbelievably true. And I look at every single dog that I've rescued locally, globally, with other rescues, and I just don't realize how lucky they actually are to just get out of the situation that they're in and just being into loving homes. I mean, and I think that's, my drive for continuing to do what I do.
Because you do this full time. It's not that you have another job.
Oh, no, I do have another job.
You do?
I do. Anything that gets donated to the rescue, I don't take for any compensation. I'm not sponsored. Just again, donations, my own personal funds, fundraising events, everything 100% goes right back, to the dogs that I have in my care.
I have a question though. I'm curious. So what are the top 3 questions that families or individuals ask you when they're going to rescue? I mean, what's their first concerns, I guess?
That's so funny that you're asking that, because I really don't think people understand the true definition of rescue. And, of course, I understand, and everybody, in any family's, concern is going to be, are they kid friendly? Mm-hmm. And, dogs are different. Dogs are different from one household to another. If you don't understand the true definition of a rescue, and I've told, several people, you need to get yourself a stuffed animal. Because the demands that we've gotten ladies, there comes a point in time where it's like, okay, we need to be a little bit realistic. Are they pet friendly? Are they kid friendly? Are they potty trained? Are they crate trained? Do they bark? Are they aggressive? Do they escape? Do they dig? And all of these qualities are going to be in a rescue dog. I mean, I can't tell you how many food aggressive dogs I've come across, especially the ones, from China. So, while some families, are a little bit realistic and do understand the meaning of rescue, some don't. And it's kind of a scary situation because, if they don't have the experience to handle a rescue, then to be safe for everybody, go get yourself a stuffed animal, know?
You do a really, so one of the tabs on your menu on your website is all the questions that you have listed for families. And you have like 20 questions that, different topics. I would say, having read them all, pretty much you'd have a really clear picture of the like what you're taking on. So by the time you get to the last question, really, and the answers which you give, I think people would go, yes, this is for me, or no, this is not for me. But I think the website does a great job of making that very clear for people, which I think is great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a very direct, I'm a very assertive person. Sometimes it might come across as me being, a little bit too aggressive, but I'm not the sugar. I've been a special needs teacher, blessed my students' heart. I was, third, fourth, and fifth. The structure and the discipline within the classroom, you're going to find with me throughout any career that I do. And it's no different with rescue because, people have to understand you're taking a wild animal and you're putting that animal into your home. And if anything happens to that animal, it's going to be my ass on the line, and I need to have people understand, hey, listen, this is no joke. You need to understand what they're getting into. So my website is just basically designed, especially with the fostering information. We received so many questions and I decided to put a fostering tab on there. So that way, anything and everything was covered. And of course, anything that I didn't cover, if anybody had any questions, call me, text me, email. There's so many different ways to get a hold of me. I'm very quick with my responses. I'm very quick with communication. And I'm pretty sure that has to do with, my background with being a teacher,
right,
and with being in customer service.
Yeah. Christine, when you have identified a dog or dogs that need to be rescued, do you do some rehabilitation over there, China, Bahamas, wherever it is, or is that done here in the United States?
Well, our goal, especially within China, there are so many dogs that need to be rescued from the shelters. It's not your pretty, your pretty shelters or your pretty rescues where they're individual in homes. It's not like that. There's literally thousands of dogs in these shelters. So the main priority is to get these dogs out of there as quick as possible. We also do our best trying to put them either into a foster home or, especially with the China dogs, just try and get them adopted and get them, rehabbed and decompressed and everything here. So that way, they're understanding what it's like to be a dog. They're understanding what it's like to be loved and cared for. And, believe it or not, a lot of the dogs, coming from China, they're so used to being handled. When they go to the vets, they're not scared.
Right.
I don't know. There's just a different way about, rescuing dogs from overseas rather than, here. And it's crazy because, they're very loving and they're very trusting, even with the way how they were treated by humans.
Wow. It's that unconditional love that they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Do people ask you, why do you get dogs from other countries where we have so many rescue dogs here in the United States?
We get that all the time. A lot of times it's a conversation that I don't choose to engage in, because if I'm not doing it, who's doing it? Right. And are they going to do it? No, I'm at the point where I'm kind of like, don't tell me how to run my rescue. If I want to save a dog from South Korea, if I want to save a dog from China, and if I have my supporters that are going to support me and do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. A lot of times here in the shelters, you have your bully breeds, you have, the dogs that are, a little difficult to place in a home, but that doesn't mean that we won't try and do our best to, to help. I try my best to help every single dog in need. But when I do have those conversations as, gosh, there's so many dogs, need rescuing, I go back to the golden retriever, because there's so many Goldens and so many other breeds within China and South Korea that need rescuing. I think I've probably saved over 100 golden retrievers, whereas there aren't 100 golden retrievers need to be rescued here. So, everybody's going to have their own opinions, and
it's a global thing, right? I think we live in a more global world than we ever have. So, the fact that you're rescuing dogs, that's a positive thing. I mean, that in itself is a really positive thing. Where they're, where the need is, where they're coming from. I mean, I think it's very global, and I think it's great that you stepped up and figured out, these are places where they really are being treated badly, used for whatever reasons, and you want to help them. So I think that's that's really commendable. One of your mission statements, I thought, was it says focus on maximizing positive effects one paw at a time. I thought that was great. I love that you said
That's cool.
very global. I mean,
it is. I mean,
or one paw, it's one paw in the world.
and animals don't know that there is a country called Africa and there's a country called, and everybody runs their own countries. They have I wish that was the same for humans. And I think that's why animals give us unconditional love, is because they don't have this inner sense of discrimination, serious.
Right. And, especially the dogs coming from China, they don't understand English, but what they do understand and what they do respond to is, a gentle hand, getting fed clean water. I mean, it's so hard when you rescue a dog from overseas, because, you don't know what you're getting. But at the same time, just seeing them evolve and finally becoming a dog, it's so rewarding. I don't do this for the pay, because like I said, I'm not getting paid. I don't do this for any recognition, because whether or not I was getting recognized, I would still help continue to save. I do this because it seems this world is just so unkind, and just continuing to see how people treat their animals. It's like, I've got to spread some kind of kindness. And, with animals, they don't know kindness. They don't discriminate, I should say. You see it with humans, they're just, they're so, I don't know. I have one here, and, she's fantastic.
I was going to say, who is that you've got down on your lap?
So this is Vera. And in the back is Marvin. He's one of my rescues as well. This is Vera. She had a very hard time adjusting. It's taken her several months to finally, become a dog. She came to me in very horrific conditions. I thought that she was going to have a double ear canal surgery, which is called a TICA surgery. That's where they remove both ear canals. And she would have been deaf, because she had the worst double ear infection I think I've ever seen on a dog. It was just, the pus was coming out of her ears, the smell in the house. I mean, she was in a lot of, pain, but, with time, patience, proper treatment, she's turned into a fantastic dog, and, finally showing love. She finally licks my hand. She'll finally come up on the couch. So, it's great to see.
From our first conversation with Dr. Hoffman, and this conversation for me is that, so I love your saying when they become a dog, like, I love that. I think that's your true self, sort of. But, what you're saying too is a lot of what Dr. Hoffman said, and that is, different behaviors that, we as humans tend to put human ideas and human behaviors to animals, but that's completely not true. So you're right. You've taken animals that can't really communicate, brought them to a completely different world, treating them well, that they are going to go through some changes to become a dog, sort of. So that just reinforces some things we already have talked about, doing these topics for May.
I have a personal friend who has a rescue from your facility, and I just look at the way, I don't know if it's a he or she, the dog has just become part of the family. And it's so good to see that and know where this animal was born in the first few months of its life. And what
Ye-
you have
yeah.
done to find a home for this dog is just unbelievable. Seriously.
He was lucky because it was less than, 48 hours, and I had to make a decision whether or not to get him on a flight. And there's just so many things, oh my God, the paperwork and this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, there's an opportunity, and I didn't even think twice. It was just like, yeah, get him on that flight. I did not have a home for him, nothing. And I contacted her right away, immediately. I sent her pictures of him, and, she stepped up and she said, yes, absolutely. And then, once he was here, you got to wait through customs, and, they're on their own agenda. They could care less that these dogs, have been crated for literally 3 days because of flight delays. And, I was really concerned about, because, you could tell he was showing signs of dehydration. And, I had vet staff that were there to attend to make sure all the dogs were okay. And, I kept pushing again. I'm not one to tell me no. You're going to tell me no. I'm taking it to another level, because I'm going to make it happen. And thank God we were able to get him out as well as the rest. But as soon as we got him out, he was immediately put on fluids. And he's living his best life. I mean, who knows if I would have said no. I don't know where he would have been.
Right. Really. So I have a couple other things. One is, so, you clearly must have a volunteer staff. I mean, you would never be able to get things accomplished at the way you do if you didn't have volunteers. So do you, and how can people find out about volunteering for you?
My volunteer staff is very limited. I think right now I have 4 dogs that are in foster homes. I do have one other person that I kind of consult, veterinary, medical, or, just another person on the team to just kind of consult with. But my rescue is very small. If anybody is interested in volunteering, they can definitely contact us, either Instagram, Facebook, the website. There's so many ways that, they're able to get a hold of us. As far as volunteers, we really need fosters. I can't save dogs without foster homes.
So when you say foster, people volunteering to have the foster dogs in their homes until they're placed.
Yeah, so I do not have a brick and mortar. All of the dogs that I have, they'll stay with me until they're ready to be adopted, or they will stay with other people, in their foster homes. Because, if I had a shelter, these shelters are so noisy and there's just so much going on. You can't really properly decompress a dog, into a shelter and in that kind of environment. So just having them in a home, just experiencing what a home life is, and just having them, walk on a leash, have your own food, quiet time, it's easier that way. But again, you kind of run into some problems with the foster because the dog might not be a good fit.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are other problems that, do kind of arise with, foster homes too.
So Christine, we will post all of your social media sites, but if you want to go ahead and just give us your website, so those of people who are listening, they can jot it down quickly.
Sure, absolutely. It's www.mywhyrescue. That's MYWHYRESCUE.org. And I have to say, a lot of people say, my why, why are you naming your rescue My Why? And I love when people ask me that, because, for the longest time, I did help and rehab, dogs, and you see them just so down, so out. They have zero personality. And then once you start bringing them literally back to life and just becoming the dog, becoming, the type of dog that, that they can become, it's like, they're my why. That's my reason. And that's why it's called, My Why Rescue. Right. So many people, when they adopt dogs too, why are you adopting? And when you see that dog just become part of the family, it's, that's their why, that's their reason, and with Vera, I mean, if I didn't, when
I saw My Why Rescue, I thought that's a great, it's very catchy.
Yeah.
I think it's, Yeah, and your explanation is perfect. So yeah.
Yep. So yeah, we're on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My Y Rescue. And yeah, you can see all the great things that we're doing. We do have a lot of fundraisers going on right now because again, I'm trying to, just save for once this ban is lifted, because once this ban is lifted, I don't care where I have to go. I'm going to get and rescue some dogs because, they're not going to be somebody's next meal.
Yeah.
And
thank-
COVID, is that it? The ban is because of COVID.
No, it's a CDC ban due to a rabies that was put into effect last July 14th. And we are hoping that the ban will be lifted July 14th. We can bring dogs to Canada. I've sent 6 dogs to Canada. And rather me just have them wait there for 6 months, I decided to get them all adopted up there. And
Great.
that was the best decision I think I ever did.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's, like I said, it's very global. I think you're doing that, which is really.
Well, guys, Christine, I'm telling you that you have opened my eyes to rescue facilities. Personally, I know somebody that has a rescue through your organization, and I've seen the dog. He is just living the lifestyle. Thanks to and I would say to any of our viewers, please, 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 if you're thinking about getting a dog, call Christine, contact her, make sure that you get the dog through her, because you're going to get a much needed home for that dog. And as I say, we make shit happen. Christine obviously makes it happen. Patty makes it happen every single time. So guys, we ask you to go out and make shit happen. And if it is adopting a dog or fostering a dog, that shit will work. So
Yes, it will.
Have a great weekend, and we'll see you sometime out there. So make shit happen, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.